Not again. Not again. All right, fine. One more time. One more time. Just give me a chance. I can do it. I know. Yeah. Woohoo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Full Circus, episode 15. I just did this intro a couple of times, and I felt like I brought way too much energy into the beginning. I was like, you know what? Some people aren't ready for that. In their morning show while they're sipping their coffee on the back porch looking at the deer. You're probably like, hey, who's this guy? Like, this is like midday kind of energy. Like, this is freaking light up your world. Here's the weekend kind of energy. And some people just aren't ready for that. So I thought, hey, let's bring it down to like a yeah, this is fun. Not a yeah, baby! Because that's kind of where I'm at. And I do want you to kind of raise it and bring the level, bring the game. And, this is a high contact freaking conversational sport here. And some people just aren't ready to be on that plane of existence with me. So I'm going to try and dial it back just for a second. But I'm excited, okay? I'm excited. It feels good to be back in the booth. I actually just did another emergency podcast episode, so I'm feeling even more prepared, okay? It's an EMP, emergency podcast. And, it's just great. I was also listening to the podcast because I was writing some notes down, stuff that I liked. It's all well and good. But, it's good. It feels good. It feels good to be back. I hope that these little emergency podcasts have been helping, and I don't know if I said this on the last one, but I hope you guys never hear them ever, because they're really not that great. It's just it's practice. It's practice for me, podcast practice. I just do a little 30-minute PP, and that's that. And that's just the game, baby. And I hope, like, again, I don't want you guys to hear them, okay? They're not good at all. Well, maybe they are, but maybe if you just, hear me go like this. I just don't know what I'm going to talk. Oh, I dropped my Powerade. Is it still recording? I have a bad habit of dropping things and ending the recording for 7 minutes. So anyways. Yeah. You get it. I've already said it. I'm not going to repeat it again. And I've been listening to the podcast, so I've just been all over. I've been really repping the brand today, yesterday, and, just been all over it. And I was listening to the episode with the Febreze underwear. And looking at that from an outside perspective, it's a genius idea. Because at first I was just saying it to be funny. I was like, Febreze underwear, you bust a grumpy and and it's nice and it's great and it smells good and pumpkin spice latte. It's whatever. I thought that was funny. When I listened back to it, I'm like, how do I freaking invest, dude? This is genius. So I was listening back to myself. I was like, where did the IQ come from? I'm supposed to be the doofus, not the guy who comes up with freaking accidental brilliance. But I'm that guy somehow, some way. And it was just very coincidental. Like I was out while I was listening to it, and I did have to break wind. And I do try to freaking break it and shake it, rip it and slip it and just get out. And I didn't really feel like I did a good job. It's just kind of that accidental. Sometimes you gamble on it a little bit. You gamble on a fart and you say, hey, is this going to be okay? And I'm like, all right, can I pick up for Jake? And I take the food and I leave. And they're like, dude, that guy just freaking break wind in the burger fight and leave. And I'm like, sorry, I didn't have the invention stuff on me at the time. But it was very coincidental and it was helpful. But, and I'm back to dashing. Baby. You thought I was out. You thought you could count me out, but you can't. We thought the dumpster wizard had got the best of us, right? First the control arm, and then the freaking transmission goes. And then, you know what dumpster wizard did? He did get a big play there, okay? Because you know what happens? We're waiting. I'm waiting for this car to come back, right? It's supposed to be fixed. My dad has it out. I'm excited because it's like, oh, it's supposed to be done today. He's going to come home with the car. I'm like, I'm ready to freaking dash and get back out on the road. Get some fun stories coming again. I'm so excited for it. And you know what he comes home with? The key fob. That's it. That's all that's left of the car because the car was so trash, it was scrapped. I was like, oh, you got the focus key. Where's the focus? He's like, yeah, the focus doesn't exist anymore. Huh. my heart sank in so many different ways. That car was beautiful to me, man. I took that on so many acting auditions, the time spent, the tears, the blood, and I didn't commit murders. Like, it just got hurt sometimes. And it was just it was a really emotional experience. And I thought, hey, dumpster wizard. That's trash, I guess. And he got me. Hit me with a freaking cross, a little uppercut, jab, slip. And I'm like, dang, it's not going well for me. You know? I mean, it's a pretty big thing, pretty heavy hitters. You're like, hey, this car is going to be done. Can't wait for it to come home. And like, yeah, no, he scrapped it. But hey, we made, $200 off it. So it's sad. It is. It's sad. You hate to see it go, but then, when you think the dumpster wizard has beaten you, when life has knocked you down, some beautifully generous people offer us a freaking free car, a free vehicle. Who does that? Who's stupid enough to give us a free car? I'm just joking. If they are somehow listening to this, you guys, thank you so much. You're a blessing. But yeah, I was like, wow, like freaking dumpster wizard versus whatever else kind of wizard this is, If Jesus was a wizard, I wish, like Jesus is awesome, but like if there was like a cool name, like a superhero name for him, is that bad to say? I just maybe like Thunderbolt 4,000, I don't know. And but that'd be pretty cool name for him, right? Like love you, Lord. And so the Lord freaking blessing, get a new vehicle. Not to be outdone, though, by the dumpster wizard, because after receiving new vehicle, realizing the old one was scrapped, I remembered another shocking detail. I had just filled the car up with gas right before it gets shipped off to its doom. So that was another little last-second jab, just in case you think you're out of luck. You can always get worse, just a little bit. But, there's redeeming qualities in everything. So, yeah, today was actually the first time I took this new vehicle dashing. It was great. It was exciting. It felt good. I mean, it was no focus. It was nice though. It ran a lot better. The one issue I did have was user. It was a user error, really. I didn't bring a charger for my phone. This wasn't really a car thing. This was more of me, personal. So I was leaving the house. I was probably about 10, 15 seconds away from home. I just left. And I thought, oh shoot, I forgot my phone charger. And this is like the stupid, weird inconvenience in people and human nature. They're like, do I really want to turn around? There's not really a good place to U-turn. I'm going to have to pull in one of these driveways and then turn back. And I just thought, hey, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go. And I did. Risk it all. So, it was fine. My phone was holding a decent charge for a while until I got into the end. And I got a double order, and I was already on 10%. I was on 10%, and I got a double order, 2 restaurants, 2 people, 2 deliveries, all the way across town, different locations. And I was like, okay, well now I should be a little nervous. This was kind of silly of me. I thought, hey, maybe we'll survive though. Maybe we'll get through this. And then I look at the car, and the van's on E. The van is on E. This newly acquired van we just got. I wasn't paying attention. It was on E. And I thought, maybe I should pull over for gas. But I don't have the phone battery to waste any time. So now I've got no gasoline, no charge, and no food. But I have to go get 2 things of food and bring it to 2 different people all the way across town. And so I'm just like trying to preserve battery in any way I can. I'm turning off the Wi-Fi. I'm turning the brightness down, and I'm turning the thing off. And I have stupid Siri is Australian, so she's like, "All right, so you're gonna want to head eastbound on West Street and you head over there." And I'm like, "Wait, what was that? Was that westbound on East Street? How did it?" He's like, "No, so then you want to go this way, and then you'll." I'm like, "Oh, you freaking mother-loving kangaroo punching Australians! talk normal. And I can't understand her because I'm such an idiot that I turned that on because I thought it was funny until I really needed to understand what she was saying because I couldn't have my phone open to look at the directions. I had to rely. And there was this strict language barrier. It was just an accent. But still, I was having such a hard time. And if that wasn't bad enough, I was like, oh, the gas. So I'm like turning the AC off, turning the radio off. I even buckled my seatbelt real nice and tight because I didn't want to hear that bing, bing, bing. I was like, all right, I don't even know. It's not going to use like any gas at all. Super, super minimal. But I was like, you know what? Every little drop counts right now. So I'm like freaking out. Yeah. I was so scared and I'm just like driving and I'm like, I don't know if we're going to make this, you know, there's something about trying to get out of this. You know, I thought this was it. I was like, this is a risky proposition. You know, this is a bad place to be, but it was also a bonding thing because you got to really push it to the limits. And how is that? You know, that's just human nature, right? What is it about people that were like, hey, we got to freaking get everything we can out of this? I could have turned away when the phone was on 20% and thought, hey, this is a bad idea to even take another 3 to 4 orders after this. But I didn't. Or when the gas was still at a quarter, I did notice it when it was below that. I just didn't see it go to E. I noticed everything was low. I saw it and I thought, hey, we got to keep going. We can't stop. And what is it? What is it about humans that we're like, we got to squeeze everything out of it? It's not in, you know, that's why we have like 8 different inventions and types of ways to squeeze stuff out of a toothpaste thing. Because some people just don't like to waste money. Like, I got to get every cent I got out of this here. You see? I pay for this. I paid $1.79 for this. I'm going to get every freaking cent. Or some people are just like, yeah, I just like to push it to the absolute boundary, to the absolute maximum. And that's kind of where I was. And my family's always ran the car to E a lot, so I happen to know that it can go below E a good little bit, but it depends on the car. So me and this van are about to get real close here. And so I was sweating it out. I was like literally sweating, and I was showing up to this place. It's like, DoorDash for Bridget, and they're like, why are you sweating? I'm like, well, I can't have the AC on either. And I'm like, I gotta go find this. And I was so nervous. I didn't think I was gonna make it out. And to make it even worse, both places I had to deliver to were like car dealerships, and I didn't have any of the models or the makers of those things. They got freaking Hondas and stuff. And I'm like, no, do you drive a Honda? No, I don't. Like, okay, well, you know what? Screw off, dude. And I'm like, crap. It was just very dysfunctional. I thought, this I could die. You know, like whatever weird sense that makes when you're in the most stressful situation. And for some reason, you know, even though the dumpster wizard has had its day, even in like the dumbest decisions I make, I could have pulled over and got gas. I could have pulled over at the gas station and got a charger, right? At any point, I could have relieved myself of this 40-minute stressful situation that I had. I did not have to go through with this. But I thought about it. I said, hey, I'm literally at a red light right next to a gas station. Could do it. Could solve all my problems. And then the other side of me was like, why not see what happens? What kind of dumb thinking is that? Why not just see what happens? This could work out for you. And so I'm like going, I get this, and the whole time I'm constantly thinking that I should do it until the point there's no more gas stations. I committed to it. But there's no more gas stations on this route. We were committed to the grind, to the plan. And so I pick up the order for this guy, and his name looks like it should be pronounced something racist that I'm not going to say. And so I'm like, hey, DoorDash for the, and like trying to say the name that's like in a way that's not racist, because I'm like, it can't be that. So I show up to the car dealership. I'm like, I'm not going to say it here, but I'm like, yeah, DoorDash for blue. And they're like, oh, you mean blue? And they say it. And I'm like, oh, is that how it says? But I don't want to do that because they keep looking at me weird. And I say it. I'm like, hey, is it for this? And I say the name really, you know, gentle. And they look at me weird and they say, like, no, you mean this? And I'm like, okay, well, is this guy's thing? And it happens a couple more times. I'm trying to track this guy down. Why he isn't easier to find, I don't know. But I asked everybody at that car dealership where he was, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I'm misnaming this guy. Maybe it is. Unfortunately, it just is a racist sounding name, and that's okay. So I walk up to the the staff lady. I find her one more time, and I'm like, oh yeah, hey, so I got a DoorDasher, and I say it this time. I say the racist sounding thing that apparently he said, because people get so, they're like, hey, you didn't say my name right. That's not wrong. It's not okay. You said my name wrong. I'm like, okay, well, if this is how it sounds, then I'm going to say it. So I say it, and she looks at me weird now. Like, I just said something wrong. I'm like, all right, I can't. Now I'm sweating even more. Why are you sweating? Because it's hot. And I was just freaking out, man. So I give him the food, and I didn't want any part of that, and I floored it, and I ran. And you know what? I made it home, baby. I got freaking the orders done. There was still no gas. Phone was dead, and I was out of there. And I survived. And you know what? That's thrill, okay? And I've been thinking about that ever since. I was like, that was such a thrilling moment. And then the more I thought about the thrilling moment, I realized that it sucked. It sucked. It was such a horrible moment. But that the thrill, the only part of thrill is the fact that I'm not in that moment anymore. You know what I mean? It's like on a roller coaster. No one's really enjoying the roller coaster ride, right? It's like fear. It's like, ah! Ah! You're hearing people scream for their life. Ah! I'm gonna die! And you're screaming, and then they get off like, wow, it was thrilling. We survived. It was amazing. What a relief. That's where the thrill comes from. The fact that you did something and it didn't end badly for you, because everybody wants it to work out, and everybody just believes that it will. In a lot of cases it does, and those are those thrilling things that you can do. You survived a horrible situation. That's what's thrilling. But nobody is on the roller coaster, or nobody's in this stressful situation like I was and going, yeah, woohoo, this is great. That's not how it is. The only part of thrill is the fact that you went through something sucky. Now, that kind of sucks for life in general, that you're like, wow, the only time you really feel amazing is if your life sucks. And that's thrilling for some reason. Now, are there some people that do enjoy that and they go down the roller coaster and like, woohoo, this is great, yeah. Yes, there are people like that. And, they are probably too dangerous to be left alone, okay? Probably be a mental asylum. So if you know somebody that gets excited in the fact that things go wrong, keep an eye on them. Because that's a bit weird. That's something you wanna look out for. So that's how my day's been. My day's been great, and it's just one big gamble, one big roll of the dice, and life is all about just rolling it. Sometimes you have no phone battery, no gas, or you think you're gonna die, but you embrace the suck, and if you make it out, you're happy and you're thrilled. But no one's thrilled if it doesn't work out. Like if the phone died and the battery died and I'm screwed and everybody's complaining and I get all the hate mail and the 5-star, the 0 stars, and everything goes down and I get fired from that. I don't walk out of that experience and go, wow, that was thrilling, Like if this does not go well, it's not thrilling. Like if someone's on the roller coaster and they ride under the underpass and the freaking bar clips them, hits them in the forehead, and they get a concussion, somehow they don't die, they don't go, wow, that was so thrilling. And it's only the fact that you went through something sucky and horrible and came out with a positive, that you came out okay. That's the only thrilling thing about it, is the fact that it didn't end bad. So people like actual thrill seekers that are looking for a horrible experience, you're crazy. You're bad. That's a bad way to live. So that's my whole experience. And I hope that was enjoyable to hear. I just really wanted to talk about this because I wanted to listen back to this and remember it because it was thrilling. The fact that it didn't end horrible for me, I gambled it all. If I wouldn't have got these 2 orders, that's 2 negative. That could have ended really bad for me. There's a chance you could get fired for something like this. And you play the odds. May the odds be ever in your favor. So break it and shake it, baby. Yes, and that's where my day was, and it was just all about the podcast. It's all about it. Then things go well. Things go well. And I feel like just things, like the car, and I don't mean to flex my amazing dumb luck on you, but thank you, Jesus. I don't mean to brag, but a lot of times things just have a way of ending out good for me, even in that stressful situation. I say, hey, this is going to work out. This is good. And most times, for whatever reason, I don't know if I have like some little badge of honor or what. Again, thank you, Jesus. But things have a way of working out for me, and I'm very happy with that, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't have that. I've seen a lot of people that try to gamble it. My brother's one of those people. He tries to play the odds, never works out for him. Ever. That dude rolls the dice, and the dice just like fall off the table into a pot of acid. And I don't even know why there's acid in a pot, but that's the kind of luck he has. Just dumb, horrible luck. Like, why was he roll the dice, and then we'd like some random dog that we don't even own, a neighbor's dog, would come and eat the dice, and then it'd be like, oh, you're fired. I'm like, what? It just makes no sense. It doesn't matter how the conclusion happens for him, but it always ends negatively. And I feel bad. I wish I could pass it on to him, but you know what? We've all got our roles to play in this world, and I'm the lucky one. So, but it's okay. He's the... I don't know what his thing is, but I'm this guy. And sometimes maybe it would be funnier if it didn't work out for me. Like, maybe, I don't know if that story was entertaining for you living through that. I mean, I'm sure everyone can relate to that in a way. You're like, yeah, I'm going to push. Maybe you're driving on E right now, and you're like, hey, this is just like he's going through. I'm going to try and push the limits. And I hate to tell you this, it might not work out, okay? It is a roll of the dice, and we all do it to an extent, whatever the risk is, but you got to be aware of your situation and who you are as a dice roller, Like, my luck is I just, like, walk into a room and I, like, trip over something. I'm like, whoa! Like, someone pushes me over. Like, I don't just trip because I have good luck. But if someone pushed me over, someone would have to try to attack me. I'd be like, whoa! And I'd fall over and I'd trip and accidentally do a backflip, land on my feet, and knock over the freaking dice, and I'd roll a Yahtzee. Like, that's my kind of luck right now. And I'll take it. I'll enjoy it. It's going well. Man. You gotta love it. Unless you don't. Some people are like, oh, I freaking tried to drive 10 miles without my seatbelt on and I got pulled over. And you know what? I'm sorry. I am sorry. It's hot out. It is hot outside today. And it was hot in that car. It's hot outside. I say that so often to people I don't know. I mean, I do know them. I can know them really well. But if I don't know what to say to them, it's like the most stereotypical or cliche thing you could say to somebody is to talk about the weather while they're outside. My uncle is one of them. And he lives next door. And he'll be outside working, and I'll just be like walking by, and I'll be like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, well, I feel like I have to say something now that we both did the little sup nods to each other. I'm like, it's pretty hot outside. And he's like, oh, yeah. And that's just the end of the conversation, but I feel like I have to say that, It's like, it's the dumbest thing. Like, he doesn't know that it's hot outside. He's sitting right there. I'm like, I walk by, I'm like, hey, hot outside. And he's like, holy crap, yeah. Yeah, it is hot outside. I didn't catch that the first time. Or the other person I'll do it to is the mailman that we know. And then I'm like, it's hot out, huh? It's just like, oh yeah, like he's been walking 18 miles in this heat. I don't know why that's my default thing to it. I notice every time, like, jeez, and they're like, but I don't know if they seem to notice, and I wouldn't mind if someone did it to me, but it's just like the dumbest thing you could say to somebody. It's like the guy who's working in a freezer. I used to work in a gas station where I did work in the freezer, and you're like, you're like cold, and like, and you don't know what to say. It's pretty cold in here, huh? Yeah, no, I didn't notice. It was free. Oh, is that frostbite? I can't bend my fingers. You say it's cold in here? Didn't know. And I don't know why it's my default thing to, and I don't think I'm going to stop saying it. I think that's just going to keep on happening. What else is? Last episode I talked about my scale and my court order. By the way, here's goes more about it ending out well for me. Both of them turned out perfect. It ended perfectly. They just showed up as soon as I went upstairs after I did the last podcast, saw the order, and I was just amped up. I was so excited, man. Everything's just coming up my way. And some people's luck will run out. I hope not. I don't know if it will. Maybe I'm using too much. I don't know if I'm accidentally, if I have control over this, I'm choosing to use my luck early. Maybe I'll want it later or in an actual serious situation. And I'm just using it on Amazon orders. Hey, I want my thing to show up on time and be the right thing. Is that cool? And you know what? It's going to cost you next time your leg is severely broken and there might not be anybody around to help you. So you're going to have to crawl your way, 6 miles out of a forest and then call an ambulance. So I hope I don't use all my luck now. But it's hard to stop, dude. It's hard to stop. It goes well. Things go well for me. That's why I've just been doing weird voices all the time. How far are we into it? We're 25. Dang, we're going. A lot of that was that story, and man, that was so thrilling. Always thrilling. Yeah, the voices. I can't stop doing voices. I can't stop. And my worst quality, I would say, is that I have such a hard time not impersonating somebody, even if they're right in front of my face. Our old pastor was Australian. He's like, hi, how you doing? I'm Andrew. I'm like, hey, it's nice to meet you. I'm Tristan. And then it'd be like, wait, what? It's hard for me not to do that because I just find it's so interesting that I'm trying to mold it. And they're like, oh, top of the morning to you laddies. And I'm like, hi, how you doing? It's me, Tristan. Oh, you're Russian? And then they're like, I'm like, oh, I'm doing. And they're like, why are you, is that a Russian accent? And they're like, no, it's Irish. You're Russian? What are you talking about, a Russian? You'll be rushing to the hospital. You keep making fun of my voice like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not really good at accents. And I can't help it. It just is what it is. And then wherever. If I just stroll up to a McDonald's and I hear someone, oh, hey, welcome to McDonald's. Yeah, you want a Happy Meal? Oh, hey, welcome to McDonald's. And I'm like, hey, I would like it. I don't even know what nuggets. But I haven't been to McDonald's in a while. I don't know whatever their specials are. But I just can't help it. I cannot help it. Why do French people do that? Why is everything? Do they really? I've never really been up close to a French person. I've never seen one in the wild before. But the French people, do they really hack it up at the end of a sentence? Well, they'll talk like me. That's Russian or close to it. But McDonald's. It's they have some sort of weird, I don't know, indigestion or bad throat. Something's going on. They're sick. But I don't know what the French people do. I don't know what the French people are doing. Do they smoke a lot? Is this what their whole brand is? Welcome to McDonald's. I'll be out of soir. Put the dogs in Christe Bon. But yeah. So this is my problem. This is my burden. It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift because it makes me happy, right? They'll say something. Oh, hey. So today, we're going to be talking about why the Lord doesn't have, some nicknames, because he's almighty and his name is just as powerful as need be. And then I'm like, right, that sounds real great. That does make a lot of sense. And why are you mocking me? And I'm like, oh, sorry. And I'll be smiling in the face. And I can't help it. It does happen a lot of time, especially at college when I was in theater and acting classes. There's a lot of interesting people. It's a whole. When you're in a place where a lot of people go, you find a lot of interesting people, a lot of interesting voices and accents, and I can't help it, dude. If you've ever seen the movie The Master of Disguise, it's right at the beginning, he's like, am I going too fast for you? If you've seen the movie and you know what I'm talking about, Pistachio, and I'm serious. If you put any voice in front of me and I'll do it all day. It won't be great, but I'll do it, and it'll sound like I'm mocking you hard. Are you mocking me? Are you mocking me? No, I'm not mocking you. You're mocking me. And then I become the person. And maybe that's a little bit of an identity crisis. I don't know. But they never hurt me because things always work out for me, even if I mock them to the face. So, all right, this has been 30 minutes. It's been Full Circus, episode 15. Dude, I have so many notes, so many things I want to talk about. And maybe I'll have to start making this podcast longer. I don't know. The PP episodes are working. They're working. I'm feeling better. I feel like I can keep going for longer and feel my energy rising up, and I can keep on going. But we'll see. It's something to think about. These little EMPs are working out. But until then, I guess just keep on rolling the dice, keep on breaking it and shaking it. It's a good invention for Breeze underwear. But no pun intended. Have yourself a good weekend. All right, that's it. That's all I gotta say here, guys. I'm out. I will think about it though, in case you are wondering. Maybe we'll boost it up from 30 to freaking 45 minutes. I have no idea. Maybe we'll go to an hour. These are things we gotta think about. But I love you so much. Thanks for listening to the episode. Dang, I'm so sad it's over. I'll see you next week. That's 7 days. All right, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, later. Peace.